He's charming. He's funny. He knows everybody. He is Art Chat Daddy Sims, and he's only on WVON.
Yo, this is Queen Latifah, bringing a song to you about a place you might live. In case you don't understand, it's called New Jack City. In case you still don't understand, I brought along the perfect troop to kick the ballistics. Come on. Full of mud, we'll steal from that blood. Come on. Full of mud, we'll rob their own mud. Come on. Oh, don't let money change you. All my dollar. Oh, come on. That people don't let money.
For the love of money, yes, right here on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM, WVON. You're listening to Real Talk, Real People. I'm your host, Chat Daddy, back for another evening of your favorite entertainment magazine show here at VON, where we talk about just a little bit of this and a whole lot of that. But most importantly, we hope that each and every night you are relaxing, relating, and releasing whatever the stress and drama in your life. We ask that you let that mess go. And if you're at work, continue to do enough work that you're able to keep your job, but keep listening to Real Talk, Real People. So that song is For the Love of Money, and that came from the movie New Jack City, 90s. So I chose that song just to kind of have the conversation that we're getting ready to have now. I remember a time when Chicago was a place that was clean, it was quiet, it was peaceful. You could leave your back door open. You didn't have to lock your car. If you left the window down all night, you even would have a neighbor ring the doorbell and said, "Neighbor, do you know your window's down?" Whatever. No, those times have changed. And so our two guests who are here tonight, they're trying to make a difference in the way violence is handled here in the city of Chicago. They're hosting a wonderful Stop the Violence talent showcase in observance of National Gun Violence Awareness Month. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome to the show Sergeant Daniel Allen, very known all over the world as Sergeant Dan. See, that's how we do that.
We see that.
And we also have comedian Brian, the Wildcat Smith.
Hey, what's going on, people?
Gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to the show, Sergeant Dan. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. So now let's talk a little bit about, Sergeant Dan, you've been a police officer for how many years?
26 years.
26 years.
Yes.
So you've seen it all, been there, done that, and you were born and raised here in Chicago.
West side of Chicago.
West side of Chicago. So
West
you
side.
Remember a time when we didn't have to lock the doors and things like that.
Absolutely. The old adage of it takes a village to raise a child, that was for real back then.
Okay.
That was for real.
Okay, and so now we just have all kind of things going on, which, of course, the police department handles things and do what they need to do. But I think we kind of need to talk to people about how can we come back to being that village again.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, Wildcat, you at an age where, things was popping off. What do you most remember about? When was the safest time you remember about Chicago?
Man, this had to be the 80s, man, the late 80s. I was a young buck riding my bicycle. I actually grew up in Harvey.
Okay.
Not too far from here. You could call it the south suburbs if you really don't know where you're at. But it was weird looking at Chicago from the outside.
Right. Right.
I remember I went to the west side. It was late at night. You thought it was in the middle of the daytime. Mm-hmm. Folks outside jumping rope. It was all kind of stuff going on. So I would think it would have to be the late 80s, man. And once crack started getting cooked up real hard, You know,
that's it.
they go to the neighborhood.
I've often wondered what changed the dynamics of our community and
Mm-hmm.
our people. Because really, as I said before, you could go to your neighbor's house, wouldn't be any problem.
Mm-hmm.
You could love your fellow man. Nobody had any issues. And don't get me wrong, we've always had shootings and murders and robberies and things like that. But we've never had them at the level that we have them now. And something's got to be done, because every night we hear more and more stories about mayhem, mischief, murder, and things that are not right. Sergeant Dan, you want to say something?
You know what? It starts to how I look at it is men. Having African American men in our lives made a big difference. Even when I grew up, born and raised on 16th Street, as they call the hood, or they call Holy City, you know, in the gang world. I was brought up in church as well, in music and sports, et cetera, et cetera. But I was raised by a single mother, but in my church, we still had a lot of men in our church. So I don't feel like I was raised only by my mother, because the men had such a major impact in my life, from discipline, physical discipline, as well as mental discipline.
That's right.
And that's what we're lacking now.
That's what we're lacking now. And last night we had a wonderful conversation, 2 nights ago, about the role of fatherhood in today's society. It's easy to be somebody baby daddy. It's easy to be the hookup dude, but to be a father is really a true commitment.
Definitely.
And you've got to be a man about that situation.
Yes, you do.
So what do you think that we can do to try to talk more of our young men? Like, you know, the situation today where I posted that picture. I've reached out to that young man, and now I'm finna change his life just by talking to some people. What can we do to change the dynamics of our young men, since we kind of figure that might be what the problem is?
I think we can continue to do what you did today. We see stuff and we don't say nothing. Pull these brothers to the side. Let them know they have all the wrong examples. People go outside and become what they see. This is only happening to black people. Look around. Hispanics aren't even going through the things that we're going through, because they have those family values. They understand if daddy ain't around, an uncle will step up.
That's right.
The older cousin will step up. Respect is gone. You know, we don't respect our elders. We don't respect the people before us. So there's no leadership. And I said it time and time again, when they locked up all the top gang members, the Larry Hoovers, the Jeff Ford, they cut the head off that snake, and it went wild. You know,
but you can cut a head off a snake and it not die. You
it didn't die.
So that's what right, absolutely.
So there's no leadership. When I was coming up, you know, doing what I was doing, even on the streets, you had a hierarchy. You couldn't make certain moves until you talked to people. Certain, if you saw a guy, you had beef with him, he was with his mother, his son, his daughter, he got a pass. You had to talk to people before you made moves, or you would get dealt with.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because I used to tell people that all the time, being who I am, being born and raised on the south side of Chicago, I came up at a time when easily I could have been in a gang, or, you know, again, these are people that I all knew, but for some reason, every guy in my neighborhood felt as if, nope, don't bother him. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Let that go. Let it be. And to this day, I'm grateful for that, and still grateful for the friendships that I have with a lot of people. And that's why I tell people, I get the hood witness news experience a lot, and be able to know what's going on, and, you know, because of that. So I'm glad you said that, because really, all young black men do not have to get caught up in the cycle of gangs and violence, but it's just the way we live in this day and age. It's almost like breathing.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. And Brian brought up a very good point. These young men is the product of their environment. So even organizations, great organizations like Becoming a Man, BAM, they do some wonderful things with young men. They nurture them. They teach them how to do interviews, how to write resumes, et cetera, et cetera. But then they go back to where they live in that product, and then there's not a male figure to say, hey, what you doing on the street? Get off the street. Get in the house. The only person they listening to is that guy
in the street, that guy.
That guy.
Nobody seems to know that guy.
That guy, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody seems to know that guy. So,
Yeah.
okay. All right. So now let's talk about this amazing event that you put together in honor of Gun Violence Awareness Month. You know, we just celebrated Hadiya Pendleton, and what a tragic loss of losing her. And we just have countless other stories of just carnage in our community when it comes to gun violence.
Yes, absolutely. But, I ran this by my publicist named Mr. William Booker. I thank him great for what he has
He's
done.
a good guy. I kind of know him. He a good dude. He all right, yeah.
He's awesome. So me and my wife have an organization called Divine Purpose Youth Performing Arts. My wife, Victoria Allen, she's a wonderful soulmate. But I also started a separate music team called D Productions. And I started D Productions because I was doing a lot of stuff with youth. But then, I'm a musician, I'm a singer as well, outside of law enforcement. And I said to myself, hold on, I'm doing everything for youth. I said, Vicky, I ain't doing nothing for me. Hold on, I still got a little skills left too, So we decided to put together annual shows. So every year I do a theme. And because the violence is so rampant the way it is, I said, let's do a show called Stop the Violence Talent Showcase, where we get to, so younger people of all demographics it's catered from 18 up to 100 years old. So they can come and see talent, but also listen to the theme about how we can reduce and keep these guns off the street. Yes.
Makes good sense. Makes good sense because really, we have beautiful communities, and we've got to hold on to our communities. People are moving in, taking over, and we live close to downtown, near the lake, the convenience that people paying millions of dollars for, and we are tearing up our communities due to guns and drugs and just things that are inappropriate, and we do need to change that. We really do. Anything you want to say with that?
I want to say that Chicago's all about location. Like, there's a lot of things that happen on the south side that don't even happen on the west side. Why? Because the west side is closer to downtown. It's closer to Oak Park. There's situations. It's an equation. I was watching a documentary on how the expressways run through all the major black communities. I don't care what state you go to. They do that to cut off that's almost like the line. That's the line. Don't cross that line. You ever be driving down Madison going west? Soon as you get to Austin, everything changes.
Yes, it does.
I mean, you got liquor store, you got the chicken hut, and then soon as you cross the street, it's a Starbucks. Soon as you cross the street, it's a respectable property. So they know exactly what they're doing, man. This is Chicago, and the problem is we have a lot of people that make it. We have a lot of people that have resources and power. See, I've got more resources than I have cash. So I've been using my resources, comedy, whatever, to use my voice to let people know, man. We can't just sit around and get our money and move out or focus on our family. This town is crumbling. It is crumbling as we speak. They're finding bodies in abandoned buildings. There's shootings on the expressway. It's ridiculous.
But a lot of that is because we don't love each other.
Yes.
We don't love each other. We are forever at each other's throats. We are forever. We can never accept an apology. It's just so many. We could be on here for the next 4 days just running down a list of what we need to do. But you're right. We've got to start this ball rolling.
But it's by design. Listen, and you talk about when Chicago was good. Remember when the music was good? Remember when you can listen to the radio with kids in the car?
That's right.
There's a dynamic that has changed through music, through fashion, through entertainment, and we're the target. White folks listen to hip hop. You don't see them shooting each other. But we have our own issues. Black folks don't shoot up the schools. White folks don't shoot up the streets. Pick your poison and what you want to do, but the community, our community is losing because we don't see the design. We don't see when KRS-One and Eric B. and Rakim and Tribe Called Quest and Nas and all those people were making positive music. All of a sudden, what happened? When did trap music become a thing? Remember when they used to have you had to have a radio version. For your song to be played. There's no more of that. There's no more of that.
They block us. Now, you're right. On this show, I try to play some of the best music ever. And so I belong to a music subscription service. So every now and then I say, you know what? Since people of all ages listen to this show, I want to put some of the new music on the show. You can't. All of it is cursing in it. And then once you find the edited version, you lose. And that's sad that songs are coming out now cussing people out.
Right.
Telling you ain't no good.
Or that I want to hurt you.
Right.
But there's an audience for everything, because cats like Chance the Rapper and Kendrick Lamar and even Lupe Fiasco. There's an audience that wants to hear it, But we have to understand that the world is a baby, and it's going to eat whatever you feed it.
I like that.
And that's the other reason why we did this show, the Stop the Violence show, is to show Chicago has mega talent in it, and we can express our talent musically with cleanliness, and not talking about some type of negative stuff of hurting somebody or degrading black women. So this Saturday, June 16th, 6 p.m. at Room 43, you're going to see comedy, you're going to see modeling, you're going to see rap, you're going to see singing, and you're going to see it in a clean element.
Very good.
My boy Brian is going to be the host.
Oh, I know he is. He and I worked the show together a couple of weeks ago. We did. He's a great guy, and that's how I reached out to him, and I'm always offering these mics to people to come by and chop it up. So when we come back from break, gentlemen, we're going to give everybody the details. You got a couple of things coming up, too.
That's right.
And then this has been good. I want to do a part 2 of this. I would like to add some other voices that would be really good, but we do need to get to the bottom of what is really wrong. And I hate to say this all the time, but I love my people, but we've got to help our people.
I agree.
And we've been saying it for years that we're going to help our people, but no, we need to really roll up our sleeves and help our people.
Yes,
You're
sir.
listening to the Thursday night edition of Real Talk, Real People. Do you need some help? We're going to help you. We'll be back in just a moment.
Find us on Facebook and like us. Search WVON 1690 AM, the talk of Chicago. You become eligible for special benefits. Think of us as your special friend with benefits. We're your hookup. 1690 WVON. He's charming. He's funny. He knows everybody. He is Art Chat Daddy Sims, and he's only on WVON.
.57 after the hour, right here on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM, WVON. You're listening to Real Talk, Real People. That is Bone Thugs and Harmony, and that came from Set It Off, the movie, and that song is Days of Our Lives. And as you guys all know, Set It Off was another movie that's the soundtrack of our lives, and that started Queen Latifah, Jada Pinkett Smith. Who else was in that movie? A lot of great people, and that was 4 women that set it off. They robbed a bank and all that good stuff. Cleo, I'll never forget that. And then now they're doing a stage play of it that Keke Palmer was in it, and quite a few. So all right, Set It Off, T.I. No, who
T.I.'s not in
No,
it.
T.I. wasn't in it. I don't think. Not in
Fox,
Set It
no.
Off. Vivica Fox, the fabulous Vivica Fox from Indianapolis. All right, I'm sitting here now talking to 2 amazing gentlemen, Sergeant Dan Allen, Sergeant Daniel Allen, but we call him Sergeant Dan around here, and comedian Brian the Wildcat Smith. Just Wildcat. That's all I know you as.
That's
Wildcat.
cool.
Yeah, you do a great job. You really are. You're a great comedian. Sergeant Dan, what are we expecting on Saturday? Good people, good entertainment. What time is it, and how much are the tickets?
Okay, the production show is going to be at Room 43. It's 1039 East 43rd Street. It's going to start at 6 o'clock p.m. on the dot. It's $10.
Okay.
Real inexpensive to get in.
All right.
It's
Family
not-
friendly?
Family friendly.
Okay.
So it's like you could bring teens, but you also 18 years old to 100 years old.
Okay.
You're going to have comedy. You're going to have some singing, some good R&B, a little inspirational music, as well as a little clean rap, and a lot of networking and some good food and just some good fun.
Very good. All right, Wildcat, what you got going on? A couple of movies, all that. I'm going to have you back soon because we got to talk more about what's going on with you. But tell us real quick.
Oh, yeah. June 18th, man, at the Patio Theater. They're premiering one of the movies I did called All for the Money. Fantastic movie, man, featuring Maisha Carter, Simeon Henderson, a bunch of people. I love it because I finally get to play character roles. They got me playing an old guy. He's about 70. He's on this dating website looking for love, and he kind of goes through all these different things.
Oh, we definitely going to have you back to talk about that.
Definitely. Also, I got another movie that's premiering in Chicago pretty soon called Disconnection Notice. Funny movie featuring Rodney Perry, Kelly Kales from Milwaukee, Joe Blunt, Howie Bell from Detroit. It's got people from all over the nation. Definitely funny, man. All that information's available on my website, actorbriansmith.com or wildcatcomedy.com.
Very good. Great job, gentlemen. God bless you both. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
My pleasure. You will be back with me for more conversation. We got to continue the dialogue. Let's give these gentlemen a big round of applause.
Hey, hey.
Hey, hey.
Hey, hey.
Hey, hey.
Hey, hey.
Hey, hey.